Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale figure unboxing and retro review. Now today we're going to be taking a look because so many of you told me when I reviewed the DX11 that this was actually the superior Joker head sculpt, so I thought I may as well go and pick it up. But it's of course the DX01, Hot Toys' very first DX figure, and the first release to feature the PERS, the parallel eyeball rolling system, so we'll have to wait and see what it looks like on this release. Now this guy comes jam-packed with a bunch of accessories, so honestly, I couldn't be more excited. And yes, we will be doing a comparison to the DX11. Now I do believe you can pick this up from Toys Wonderland, although it is going to be incredibly expensive. It's a super old release, so I have warned you, do bear that in mind. If you do like seeing early Hot Toys and third-party unboxing and review videos though, why don't hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new content goes live on the channel. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here of course we have the box art for the DX01 Joker. It's very understated but yet very classy. Being the first DX01 figure, this is kind of the blueprint that they followed on throughout the years as they released more and more DX releases. I love this. As I said, super simple, but yet very, very effective. You do have a Jester, which is kind of mimicking a Joker playing card, and of course the Joker printed on the front. Now with these early DX releases, you do have to be careful because when you open it, the spine fully folds over, whereas on some of the newer ones, this bottom section also folds out so as you don't damage the box itself. Now you do have 3 Joker playing cards on the front there. These sort of life-size pieces, they did continue throughout the course of the DX releases to date. They have included little bits and pieces. Most recently with the DX Darth Maul, they included a keychain, just a nice throw-in accessory piece. Now right off the bat you can see the Joker himself, plus the additional police uniform and an optional head sculpt. The only thing stopping this figure from being a 2-pack release is that it didn't come with an additional body, but we will be rectifying that throughout the course of this video. But here we have him, the DX01 himself. This is the first time I've ever seen this guy in hand, and I have to say, he's pretty darn impressive. More on that in just a second. Now you can see he does come with this first tray, but also a lower tray of accessories. Of course he does, it's a DX release. So what we are going to do now is get all of this stuff laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. And here we have all of the accessories that come with Joker. And as you can see, a vast majority of them are for the police uniform. We'll touch on that in just a second. Let's talk about the display base first. Being the DX01, this happens to be the very first time we ever got this DX style display base. It's square, has the Dark Knight logo and this metal grate effect, plus a metal nameplate that says the Joker MMSDX, and of course some lights up the front there. This being the first one, but definitely not the last. We've seen this style of display base reused time and time again. Now let's take a look at the grenades. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm fairly certain this is the only time in 1/6 scale at least, not counting the quarter scale Joker, that Hot Toys have ever given us the grenades to install inside the jacket. One of the key reasons that I personally decided to pick up the DX01. He also comes with a stack of playing cards. They are all individually removable, but they're super thin and super tiny, so please be careful when you are handling your Joker cards because you definitely don't want to be misplacing any of them. Now let's take a look at the head sculpt. It actually, being an older figure, looks really good. I can tell why people are saying this is the best Heath Ledger Joker likeness. It's a very, very strong sculpt, especially as I said, for an older release. Bringing in the DX11 though, as you can see, the paint applications on the DX11 are by far superior. It's a newer figure, that just makes sense. But honestly, I can see the likeness in both of these. And from the start of the movie, this is pretty much exactly how he looked. When you do pop it on the outfit, the sort of older style paint application doesn't even stand out that much. Plus, if you do remove the back of the hair, he does have the purse system, which means you can move his eyes and get him to emote, which is a really nice touch. This again was the first time we saw the purse, and honestly, I think they nailed it. So yes, finally having it in hand, I can tell what all of the fuss is about. This is a fantastic Joker head sculpt, but so too is the police officer one. It's really nicely done. The sculpt, again, is very, very strong, and even for being an older figure, the paint applications aren't all that terrible. It looks really, really good. Now, in order to install it onto a body, you will need to get yourself one of these. You could always technically remove it from the Joker sculpt, but I'm going to want to install this on a separate body altogether. Usually when you are picking up these sort of naked, just generic bodies, they do come with these pieces that install onto the neck peg. This particular body is the DX01. It's what I'll be using in conjunction with the police officer uniform to get the fully assembled look and make this a 2-pack, because of course when you get this, the police officer uniform is literally just sitting on a clam tray piece of plastic, but the uniform itself looks fantastic. It's a nice navy blue, got the little US flag up there, and yes, it's fully complete, shirt, tie, and belt. Now, in order to complete the look, you do get some socks and some super glossy dress shoes. You'll see them fully assembled later in the video. You also get this little rank badge. Unfortunately, mine has snapped off from the clips, so I'll have to fashion another way in order to install this onto the actual jacket itself. You do also get the GCPD hat, which is made of the same material as the outfit there, and it will nicely pop on to Heath Ledger Joker's head there. It's a little bit of a weird fit, but once you sort of press it down, it looks fairly good. Now, he also does come with 2 hands. Only 2, unfortunately. You don't get a bunch for the police officer uniform, but it's the trigger hand and, of course, the rifle cupping hand, so those do make sense. And to fully complete the look, you do get the rifle itself. This thing is really nicely done. You have a working mechanism that actually moves the bullets on the inside and a real pleather style strap. Luckily, mine hasn't decayed. You can see it's starting to ever so slightly bubble, but I think it should be fine for, hopefully, the near future at least. He does also, for the Joker part, come with this Glock machine pistol. I do believe it's a Glock 17, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's nicely painted. You can also remove the magazine, and there is detail on the inside there, and of course the top slide can be moved back. He also comes with a single knife that can be actuated. He doesn't unfortunately come with all of the added accessories that we did get with the DX11, but now I have them both, I can technically accessory share between both figures. He also comes with some teeny tiny little 1/6 scale safety pins for the jacket in order to install the grenades. And finally, the last pieces that he does come with are, of course, his hands. They're a lot darker than the DX11, but the sculpt is fairly good. I honestly prefer the darker look to the gloves that come with the DX01 here. But yes, some of the expressions, if you will, on the hands are very, very similar. As you can see, this one is him opening the jacket, I do believe, and it looks really darn good. What we are going to do now, though, is get the DX01 Joker himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And I have to say, for an older figure, this guy is pretty darn impressive. I had no idea what to expect. I'm pretty sure this is one of the oldest figures in my entire collection. But honestly, he doesn't really disappoint. There are some key things which I might even prefer over the DX11, which is a huge surprise to me. More on that in just a second. Now, don't worry, you will be seeing the police uniform fully assembled right after we take a look at this guy, because I have now installed it on a body, and it looks really darn good as well. But what we are going to do now is get this guy off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have him up close and personal. And honestly, being an older release, I can definitely see where it's starting to show signs of age, namely that head sculpt. I know, we've already seen it, but up close and personal, it does look really darn good. It's just those paint applications that are letting it down ever so slightly. The sculpt, though, is very strong, specifically from angles such as that right there. I can see Heath Ledger through and through. Now, let's talk about the coat. As you can see, I've already installed the grenades, and that's fantastic. I really like how that looks. It's a little bit cumbersome to do so, but trust me, as you can see, one has fallen out. Once you do have it installed, it does definitely work a treat. Now, I do want to compare the jacket to the one that came with the DX11. The color is vastly different, and so is the texture. I much prefer the color and texture of the DX01 coat. It's nice and velvety feeling. There's still a nice deep liner here, except this one is red rather than orange. Plus, it's a hell of a lot dirtier. There's dirt and grime collected in all of the seams. It looks like it did in the film. The same can be said for the rest of the outfit. This is a lot darker, so is the vest, and the tie even looks gross and nasty. It is a really darn accurate outfit, and honestly, I don't know why they went for the lighter, more vibrant, punchier purple for the second version. I much prefer the coat that comes with this guy. Now, in terms of the pants, they are a pinstripe, like in the film, and they are accurate. They're nice and form-fitting, and they do taper down to the ankle here. The shoes are where this one slightly shows its signs of age once again. The DX11, if you'll remember, has proper felt style shoes. These are sculpted. The wash is a little bit heavy-handed. I much prefer the ones that come with the DX11, but he still includes the socks, which is a nice touch. Overall, though, even though this guy is getting on a little bit in age, he does something surprisingly, in my opinion, better than the DX11. And there you have it, the Police Joker fully assembled on a separate body. It's a real crime that Hot Toys didn't go ahead and just include another true type body to assemble this look. It's just super weird to me. Why would they include everything you need except a body? Who wants to be completely dismantling their Joker every time they want to display him in this look? I know it definitely wasn't me, but nevertheless, nowadays these bodies are super easy to find. I've assembled him and it required 0 modifications to the body itself. It fit perfectly. The only thing to be aware of is you need to pull the pants up a little bit higher than you'd expect so that they're not bunching around the shoes, because of course you want it to be a super crisp and super sharp suit. But now that I have him built, it might actually be my favorite figure of the set. That's how good I think this figure really is. Now, there have been third-party versions over the years, but I do believe this is still the best Police Joker that has been created in 1/6 scale. Either way, let me know what you're thinking of the Police Joker down in the comments below. What we are going to do now, though, is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have him up close and personal, and this is a really nice looking outfit. We'll talk about the outfit first because it's fairly basic. It's of course a blue jacket for the police uniform. I have affixed the badge on there as well, and it looks really good. It ties the whole thing together. You do have a GCPD patch up here on the shoulder and nothing on the other side. Underneath, white shirt and black tie. Coming down to the pants, these are a little bit of a pain. As you can see, I have pushed them significantly higher up. That way they break nice and evenly on the shoes there, because you do want it to be a nice tailored, tapered fit, and you don't want much bunching, because otherwise it looks a little bit ill-fitting, so you do have to mess around with it to get it to look quite right. The shoes themselves are fantastic, super glossy, and very nicely done. Now, the head sculpt does fit on the outfit quite well. I think it looks really darn good. The paint applications, even for being an older sculpt, are really quite spectacular. The hat was a bit of a pain to press on there, but once you have it on there, I think it ties the entire thing together, just like this little rank badge. It's the little things that are really excellently done, and I can definitely say that this in my opinion, is well worth the price of admission for the DX01. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the DX01 Joker, the police uniform Joker that also comes in this set, and the DX11. Now as you can see, the reason why I have these three figures is that I can display three different looks that Joker had throughout the course of the movie. Plus, I do still have the Daft Toys Bank Robber Joker, so now I have 4 different looks for Joker. Maybe a little bit Joker obsessed, but nevertheless, they are really fantastic figures. I'm super glad I did go ahead and pick up the DX01. I'm gonna call it now. He's a fantastic release, even for an older item. Now as you can see, standing alongside the DX11, they're relatively similar in height, which is quite surprising. I thought the DX01 was gonna be overly small, but it isn't the case. Even standing alongside the BD001 body, being the police uniform Joker, it still is pretty much the exact same height. Either way, all of these three standing here in front of me look fantastic in their own right. Just going over articulation on Joker. Now bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, plus it's an older release, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints a little bit further than I'm willing to go. Also, it's worth noting that the police uniform version will have pretty much the same articulation. Starting off with the head sculpt itself, it is on a fixed neck, but as you can see, still has a fairly decent range of motion. The arms themselves go out to about there, they go forward to about there. You do have a butterfly joint and a swivel up there as well, double bend for the elbow, and of course a regular 1/6 scale joint for the wrist itself. Now the torso does have the usual array of motion, crunch forward back, swivel and pivot side to side. The legs themselves forward the full way, out as well, swivel at the thigh, double bend there for the knee, and of course a regular 1/6 scale ball joint for the ankle. Just wrapping up on the DX01 Joker. Now going into this, I had kind of already had in my mind's eye that the DX11 was going to be the best. Didn't really matter what this figure brought to the table. But now, having unboxed it, I can see what everyone who was defending the DX01 was talking about. This is a really good release. The head sculpt. Let's talk about it first. It's a really, really strong likeness. I can see Heath Ledger there. The only thing that lets it down ever so slightly is the outdated paint application. It's still really good, don't get me wrong, but compared to the DX11, it can't really hold a candle to it. That one has the far superior paint application. But this one does have a completely different look, does have the PERS eyeball rolling system, which is a real benefit. So if you are thinking about picking this guy up, I would still say it's well worth investing in. Now let's talk about the outfit. I really like the outfit. It's dirtier, it's grimier. I love the coat on this figure, specifically over the DX11. That was one of the key reasons why I picked him up. It's a much more crumpled look to the material, kind of like crushed velvet, but it's a lot dirtier. Plus you get the grenades on the inside, which is a really good addition. Now in terms of the rest of the outfit, I do prefer that on the DX11. It's much newer, therefore it looks a hell of a lot better, and it fits the body slightly better as well. But then again, this set brings the police uniform to the table with an entirely separate look. You can get a body and then have 2 figures in the one set. If I had to call it at the end of the day which set I think is the better value, it honestly would be too hard to do. I know it's a cop-out, they're both fantastic. The DX11 has that huge diorama piece with the table and the chair, and you do have that backdrop as well. This one does have a completely separate figure, but then the paint applications are slightly out of date. They're both amazing releases, and honestly, I can either recommend the DX11 or the DX01 as both really strong contenders for the best 1/6 scale Heath Ledger Joker. Hopefully you've enjoyed this look back at the DX01. Let me know which one you prefer, DX01 or DX11. Heck, none of us are wrong. There are pretty much as many opinions as you can toss out there as to what is better and what is worse on either one of them. I'm just curious to know what the general consensus is around the better Joker figure. Now, as I said in the intro, you can probably pick this up from Toys Wonderland, but it's gonna be extremely pricey, so just bear that in mind. It's an old, rare release release, it's going to be expensive. I have warned you. Also, while you are down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.